Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I'm Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. We're going to be working with my I am deck today. This deck is full of positive affirmations, wonderful things that we can say in order to really understand the truth about who we are. And I want to say thank you guys so much for coming by and playing this game with me today and liking and sharing the stream, commenting on it. You guys really inspire me to continue on with this project. So thank you so much for that. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to pull a card from my I am deck, and as we do, I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. You're going to respond, I am the affirmation on the card. And then we're going to put it in the chat. We're going to work for it. We're going to work through it together. So let's have some fun today and say that today I am constructive. I am constructive. My words and actions build others up. So I am constructive. My words and actions build others up. So, are you constructive? You are constructive. Your words and actions build others up. All right, so I'm going to write that into the chat. So I am constructive. My words and actions build others up. And I encourage you to write that same thing into the chat. And as we do, we are putting this out into the world. We are making this a more real thing. I see my chat here blowing up. Sometimes I wish that this chat would pick up all of the comments that had already been made. But what you gonna do? You guys are really good about encouraging each other, though. So thank you for doing that. Indeed, we are constructive. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Brenda Jean. I see you guys here on the call today. Thank you so much for being here, as always. It's always wonderful to see you, ladies. I tell you, I am constructive, and you are constructive too. And yeah, I chose a picture of some construction for this card, but there were lots of pictures of construction that I could have chosen. There's lots of kinds of construction, but the kind of construction that I chose was a house because home construction is a very important and vital kind of construction. Our homes are just so very important. The place that we live, the place that we lay our head, the place that we relax. Homes are just very very important. In fact, I have a list of priorities in my life, and the first one is spirituality because I believe that we have to answer questions about our spiritual life before we can make any decisions about our physical body. And the next one is our physical body, and the third one is home. And the reason I choose them in that way is because it just kind of like expands. It's our spirituality is something which really informs the way that we live, whether we believe in a spiritual dimension or not. That's It's not my point to try to proselytize to anybody, but what is my point to say is that we have to kind of have an understanding of we have to have an idea or some set of beliefs about life and death because that allows us to make better choices or make more congruent choices, I should say, about how it is that we live, the decisions that we make. Our physical body, of course, because we live inside of it, and then our home because we live inside of that. And so I chose a very humble home construction, and I chose a picture of a home construction looking upward. We have the opportunity to construct our own lives. We have the ability to construct and be constructive when we are around with other people. So we have the ability to construct or deconstruct other people's ideas, other people's perceptions. And we have a responsibility to make sure that our words and our actions and our deeds and our thoughts even are constructive for other people. Back when I was working in tourism, I ran a hospitality class, and I called it "Get Bigger Tips" because in tourism you get tipped, and in many cases our gratuities were more than our salary was, like by a significant margin. And one of the things that I taught the guides that went through my course was that never even think bad things about our guests. Like we all had our favorite guests and our least favorite guests, and some of the guides would get together at the end of the day and kvetch and complain about certain of our guests and the way that they were treated, etc. And be angry about how certain guests were just generally very difficult to please, and these guests who were difficult to please oftentimes were also the ones who weren't going to tip you either at the end of the day. And so it was just really frustrating to work with these people. And I said, and I was one of the few people who, there was there were a couple of different demographics of people that you knew as soon as they hopped on your tour that you probably were going to have a pain in the butt with these people. And I remember that I started to, when I started out, I was very similar to all of my coworkers insofar as I would basically be really unhappy to see these people on my tour because I knew that they would make my day hard and not compensate me for it. And ultimately, I decided that I was just going to do like a little ho'oponopono exercise with them. Now, for those who aren't aware, ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian forgiveness ritual, and essentially, we say to ourselves in our heads, we say, "I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you." And by saying these things, we kind of cut the emotional cords between us and the other person. And really just, we say, I love you because we share the same breath. And please forgive me for the judgments that I have against you. And um, yeah, I love you and please forgive me. And I'm sorry for the judgments that I have. And thank you for the things that you teach me. And in doing so, we just sort of we remove the judgment that we have about the other person. And I I found that I was able to completely shift the way that these people interacted with me because of the way that because I shifted the way that I interacted with them. And it was fascinating because I started to actually receive tips from a couple of demographics that basically never ever get them, and these people started to be less of a pain in my butt because I wasn't judging them. So one of the things that I really explained to the people who came through my course is that the way that we think about other people, they can sense it. That sort of if we go through life thinking everybody around us is an asshole, everybody else around us is stupid, they can sense that and they will treat us accordingly, even if they can't verbalize it. And so let's make sure that even our thoughts are constructive, that our words are constructive, that our actions are constructive, that we are building other people up. And I will be the first to admit that I don't always do this inside of my own head. I'm the first person to be wronged by somebody or to say to believe that somebody else is an asshole, and inside of my head be like, man, what an asshole. I can't believe that they just treated me that way. And I have to catch myself, because if I don't catch myself, then I'm going to fall into this trap of being destructive inside of my head, which causes me to subconsciously treat them differently. And so it's an exercise for me. It's a huge challenge for me. It's a huge challenge for me. And so this card is our invitation today to remember to think good things, think good thoughts, not just about ourselves, not just improving our own internal monologue, but to think good thoughts about the people around us, to love them unconditionally, even when they piss us off, to love them unconditionally, even when they're different than us. Because ultimately, the way that we judge other people is the way that we judge ourselves. How could we judge other people without saying that thing is bad? And how can we know that it's bad unless it lives inside of us too? So when we point a finger, we got four other ones pointing right back at us. So let's be constructive today. Let's use kind words with other people. Let's use constructive actions with other people. But most importantly, let's think good things about the people who surround us and consequently about ourselves. So I want to say thank you guys so much for coming. I am really looking forward to how this one is going to manifest in my day, which I will talk about on the Nightfall with Maui Paul at 9 p.m. tonight. Thank you guys so much for telling me what a great message it was this morning. It's so fun to go back into my past and think about how did all this get started? Like how I didn't just wake up one day and hop on the internet and start pulling these cards. That there was a whole lot of development that went behind it, and oftentimes in life, all of that development happens silently. Like nobody really sees it. It just kind of like it happens quietly. So I feel like I'm honored to be able to share this part of my process. So thank you for witnessing it, being willing to listen to it. You guys rock. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Brenda Jean. Let's see who else is around here. Thank you so much, Shauna. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you guys showing up and being a part of this stream. And if you need a particular affirmation, I've got them. I've got a particular affirmation. They are going to be on my YouTube channel, and which is linked in the video description. Until then, I will see you at 9 p.m. tonight for the wake up or for the nightfall with Maui Paul, where we will discuss how I am constructed or constructive manifested in my life, and I'm really excited to see and understand how it manifested in yours. So, aloha from paradise.